Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, or welcome. Today, I finished the other thing so I can just do what I want, and what I did today is basically build a piece for a friend of mine that he needs for his own renders. So with that said, this is a very interesting piece, something that I was kind of looking forward to doing some time. So I started quite in the middle with this. As you can see, I started with the center piece, the center square, and then I decided so my original plan was to just do this by hand fully, and then I decided I'm just going to use my full body suit, because for a lot of this it's gonna be easier, it's gonna be less time consuming and actually helpful if I just grab this and work on this with pre-made content. The whole thing is kind of homage to another model. Someone made a similar creation for Genesis 3 years ago, and sadly there was never a good way to port the figure or the clothing up to Genesis 8. So what I'm doing today is I had built the model, the clothing model, and then later on when I finished it, I ported it over to Genesis 8. As a quick explanation, you can port stuff over through the different generations of the models on Des Studio. To do so, you load up the figure you want to morph this to. For example, if you want to morph this from Genesis 2 female to Genesis 8 female, you load up Genesis 8, and what you first do is you load up Genesis 2, you import this, you use transfer utility to rig this to Genesis 2 female, then you're gonna save it. If you want to know how, I have videos about this where this is shown. I have it in one of the tutorials as well. So yeah, after you've done this, then you load up Genesis 8 female, you load up the saved clothing without having Genesis 2 in the picture. So just load up the clothing. On the scene hierarchy, you hit right click, fit to, choose Genesis 8. If it asks the desk will ask you what figure this was originally made for, you tell him it's Genesis 2 female, and then he will rig it precisely and in a good way to Genesis 8. So yeah, with that said, as you might have seen right now, I try to work on the UV map for this. I wanted to make a better UV map, but this would have taken hours, and I wanted to have this finished by today, so I did not take the time to actually work on the UV map that long and that effectively. I could have, maybe I should have, but I didn't. Yeah. So the next thing that I worked on was the centerpiece, the straps. And what I wanted to do is, the original just has like one strap that is a cross that goes from the neck to the over the crotch to the back, and crosses over the breasts. And I decided I want to alter the whole set a bit and give it a bit more detail. So I wanted to do the square center ring, more or less, that I started with. This is also precisely why I started with it, so I would actually incorporate this. Yeah, and after finishing the main body piece, I went for the left and the right side. So the left body side will just be copied over later. And yeah, this is basically the whole thing that I did here. Next thing is the crotch belt, more or less. And the thing that is really helping here is the connect tool, because it can give you additional lines that are symmetrical, that work, so you don't have to make these manually with the tessellate tool. You can do these with the connect tool, which helps a lot to actually get precise lines and to have this work out well enough. Yeah, and you can see that I'm basically just adding the, or putting this in the extreme positions, and then I'm using the connect tool to subdivide the different pieces to make them fit around the body. And yeah, on this part, so what I planned from the beginning was to actually give it a bit more detail. The original is very, very flat. It has like 2 buttons, I think, on the chest somewhere, and then it's basically just 2 big flat pieces that are more or less latex, I think, or they have a latex texture, and I wanted to give this a bit more detail. So after I was finished with all the straps right here, in this case I decided to work the UV maps on everything as I was going through the whole thing, because I don't want to have a UV section on the end of the video, mainly because it just doesn't feel that good, and because it just takes off the whole work as well, especially since I'm doing the maps in between anyway. So yeah, I loaded up the details that I have, and then I used the curve tool to draw a curve around the body, which, as you by now might know, is the my standard to go if I do a chain. So what I did is basically make a chain that links around the whole body. Copy paste. You can also duplicate this, but duplication also means if you change the mesh of one of these, you will change all the meshes. So I decided to go for, I'm usually going for copy paste, even though it means more clickies, or more clicks in general than just duplicating. It still means that I can alter single pieces easier, although that wouldn't have been necessary except for the last piece of this, because interestingly enough this actually worked quite well. So the last chain piece is actually connecting where it should, but I decided to just cut off a lot of the pieces, because I knew I was going to transfer this to Genesis 8 later, and just wanted to make sure that there's nothing weird going on in the background with this, and with sticking this somewhere else. Yeah, the pieces that I kept to put on the body is basically some of the runes and some of the gemstones, so that's what I went for with the details and ornaments here. Yeah, and that's it. That's basically what I did this weekend. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we will see more tomorrow. Next week I will have another gameplay video up, I think, tomorrow, so you can maybe look forward to that if you want to. And there is the live stream announcement for the 14th of November. That is all that I can think of right now. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed what I was showing you. There is a fun render at the end. And with that said, I hope you're staying healthy, staying safe, and I will see you guys in the next one.